The headlines are filled all over the internet that Jimmy Kimmel broke records. There's just one thing they're not telling you. Jimmy Kimmel broke his own records, not like real records. And guess what else? Jimmy Kimmel pales in comparison to the Charlie Kirk Memorial viewership, and he just might be winding up as a result. On Hulu. All right, folks, they're telling you that Jimmy Kimmel broke records. We're going to dive into that in just a minute. First of all, CNBC from Lillian Rizzo says that Nexstar is evaluating the status of Jimmy Kimmel Live for ABC stations after late night show's return. And by the way, it's also Sinclair. So that means two of the largest broadcast station owners, Nexstar and Sinclair together, 70 ABC affiliate stations in the U.S., still have not said Jimmy's coming back. What do they need? Well, they needed an actual apology, perhaps, and Jimmy Kimmel did not do that. Let's go now to the New York Post, who declares that Jimmy Kimmel broke records despite not having all of those stations across America tune in. Is it true? We'll tell you. Connor Sermonte has this one. Jimmy Kimmel shatters usual ratings. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel shatters usual ratings. Lou, I think they're talking about those ratings that dropped 50% since January to now.
Well, you know, when I was a wee high school student, I attended a summer program at Northwestern and got this wonderful book called How to Lie with Statistics. And I still have it somewhere, and it's full of stuff like this. It's all, you know, what are you comparing it to? It's not what it is. So
this is like a kid who falls out of the gate in a race, and then the next day he gets in another race, and this time he leaps out of it and falls flat on his face, and somebody says, he's broken his personal record.
Yes, exactly.
Jimmy Kimmel is back and better than ever. The Jimmy Kimmel Live host returned to his late night desk with a record-breaking 6.3 million viewers on Tuesday night, making it the most watched regularly scheduled episode in the show's more than 22-year history per Variety. Tuesday night's broadcast, meanwhile, marked a 343% increase from the previous season's average of 1.4 million viewers, according to the outlet and preliminary data from Nielsen. Now, one of the problems here, Culture, we talked about this before, and I'll show folks that we kind of had an inkling that this was going to happen. Culture, one of the problems that we talked about is that Nielsen measures for the entire country. I don't know how Nielsen is measuring this time.
Right.
And if Nielsen is measuring based on Nielsen families, which we think they are, it depends on where those Nielsen families are in the country. In other words, rating this gets pretty darn wonky. And you'll notice I said he'll do it because Variety talked about he was returning on Tuesday. And I said he'll do it with half the U.S. population. I predicted this the day before he went on air. He'll do it with half the U.S. population able to tune in, and they'll lie about the numbers afterwards. They're so predictable. Well, guess what, folks? We believe that's what's happening. CNBC, everybody's reporting this number, 6.26 million viewers. Right. But Culture, I think the number's a little shady. I'm not so sure about it.
Well, you know what? You're right to be skeptical, as am I. And it's because what you don't see in this, because the headline is inaccurate, is it's estimated.
Right.
Estimated. The problem is their estimate isn't going to include the households that are in Seattle, where he didn't air, or anywhere else. They assume what the ratings would be in Seattle, where he didn't air, and any of the other markets he didn't air in, which that's a problem because they're basing that estimate off of what numbers they did receive, either from the boxes. They don't have the journal numbers yet, by the way, because there's two methodologies that are used for this purpose. The boxes that actually measure live views and the journals that families fill out to indicate that they watch something, they get in arrears. And that's why they have to say a word in there called estimated, which I'm going to tell you, they're pulling from a history and not from an actuality. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're being misled. But it's not even that. I mean, we expected a bump, right, Pro? I mean, we knew there would be a bump here.
Oh, we're not denying the bump, and I'll tell you why, Culture, and we talked about that on the channel. We knew that everybody and their brother was going to tune in to Jimmy Kimmel for the first 20 minutes to see if he apologized or not. Like everybody was going to tune in to find out, what does he say? Does he double down? Does he go crazy? But Lou, here's the problem. And this is what they're not talking about. But again, we predicted it. We told you folks, we know them better than they know themselves. Lou, the advertisers.
Oh, them.
They're not,
they don't want anymore?
to be, they don't want to be associated with this guy. So he may have broken the record as we predicted, his own record, not records like big records, but his record. He broke his record for one night, but he's now missing, and they claim it's like 28% of the population doesn't get Jimmy Kimmel. It's way more than that, folks.
Oh, sure it is.
More. Because of the market
they're counting stations as a percentage of all stations, not the audiences they serve.
Boom.
That's exactly right. And the way they did that, Lou, was they took 250 total stations, divided it by 66, came out with 26.4% of ABC affiliates, and then forgot how many of those affiliates or how many people are living within those affiliates. What would you say? Within their reach. We'll say that.
Right.
Okay? But just to give you a rundown, Amarillo, Texas, Birmingham, Champaign, Chattanooga, Columbus, Daytona, Florence, Greensboro, Greenville, Lincoln, Macon, Mobile, Portland, Rochester, San Angelo, Seattle, St. Louis, Tulsa, Washington, D.C., Nashville, Salt Lake City, Harrisburg, Grand Rapids. I can't even read them all.
I have an urge to say, and Cucamonga.
Cucamonga. So, yes, culture.
Okay. So we need to focus in on the audience that matters, and the fact that we do not have the big data numbers that Nielsen is now capable of. We don't have those.
Well, here's the problem. Nielsen is set up to measure the entire nation. So what they do is they take the surveys, the information they get, and then they apply that to a national thing. But if they're calculating the affiliates without taking into account the populations that live within the reach of those affiliates, then you get skewed numbers.
Right. Well, you also don't, and again, that model doesn't include the fact that you are missing 61 at least stations from that broadcast and the numbers you were just referring to. So while he may have experienced in a modeled approach a 4 times increase without Nexstar and Sinclair, I think that's just not only a little bit bogus, it's completely inaccurate. And, he really didn't shine. He only got 1.18 million viewers in total in the demo, which is the thing we should be focused on, because he had dropped in half down to 129,000 in the demo most recently. So when we are looking at this, he's never been anywhere close to this. It's the best mark that the show has had since 2015.
Well, hang on just a second, Culture, because I'm going to explain something, how desperate they are. Okay. I feel remiss. We haven't hit this the way we need to, and we're going to explain it right now, folks. Let me show you something. Out of the Hollywood Reporter, I want you to see how desperate they are. Okay. The trades are trying to say this a certain way, and we're gonna debunk it. Jimmy Kimmel's return breaks his YouTube record. What is the record? Again, folks, remember what they just did? They told you he broke records with the TV ratings, and then we find out, well, he only broke his records. What do they do here? Jimmy Kimmel's return breaks his YouTube record. What's the record? The most watched monologue. So he didn't even break the record for like his most viewed videos. Not even close. Just his most watched monologue. Now, let me do this real quick, Culture. How many views did we say he got on the live airing?
6.26, maybe.
You got it, 6.26. All right, Culture. How many views did the Charlie Kirk Memorial get?
Oh my good, over 100 million. I mean, we know it's way over 100 million. I don't even know.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they even know yet. That's
100 million plus. 100 million plus is what they're reporting. Okay, Culture. Now think about this. All right.
Okay.
So the Hollywood Reporter is telling us big time. He broke his monologue record. Culture. He broke his monologue record. And they're telling us Jimmy Kimmel broke 6.26 million viewers. Here's the Culture. Here's the question.
Okay.
We got all these articles, right? I know you're ready to go. I'm ready to give it to you. They got all these articles bragging now because that's the narrative they want. Culture. How many articles did CNBC, the Hollywood Reporter, and Variety, Deadline, how many articles did they put out talking about the fact that the Charlie Kirk Memorial broke all kinds of records with 100 million plus views? How many articles?
It was very quiet, Pro. I mean, like if you were looking at a per outlet average, it's probably one. I mean, per outlet. I mean, it was very limited. They really didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to shine a light on the fact that Charlie Kirk was as popular as he was.
Right. So that's how they play the game. They talk about this as if it's astronomical. Meanwhile, 15 times more people tuned in for the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
There's another factor at work here, may I suggest. You know when they do those polls about people thinking whether the country's going the right way or the wrong way?
Right.
People on both sides can think it's going the wrong way. It's not conservative enough or it's not liberal enough. So that number goes way up regardless. Well, they said it was the most viewers of his monologue on YouTube. Well, a lot of people tuned in to see what the heck he said.
Yeah.
The issue is not what did he do last night. The issue is what does he do next week?
And here's the bigger problem. No, and I'm going to add to what you're saying because you got it exactly where I was going, Lou. This is amazing.
Great minds.
They can actually they actually track YouTube clips. Just so you know, clips can be a certain percentage of time. They could be as long as they are, I believe, 30 seconds long or longer. That clip is counting as a view.
Yeah.
So they're actually artificially inflating a number where people just wanted to see if he apologized or not. And by the way, they're lying about the length of the monologue. It was 17 minutes, and 5 of those minutes were freaking applause.
Right.
So when you look at the overall conversation, maybe they had a record for Kimmel's monologue on YouTube, about 26 million views. But it could be somebody like me who went and just grabbed all the clips today so that I could, demonstrate how ridiculous he was and how, non-conciliatory, can I use that word? That's a lot of words. Non-conciliatory he was. This guy is an embarrassment. And he could not bring himself to use Charlie's name. He said, the young man. Yeah. You're such a douche.
Well, let's go one step further into inside baseball here. Yeah. This is a television show. Television shows have to start and stop at a set time. Yeah. They literally have X number of minutes to fill every night, every week, every whatever. If you don't think that 5.5 minutes of applause was factored into, well, when that's all over, what do we got left and how many minutes can we do? If you don't think it was prearranged how long to leave the applause signs on well in advance, then you're not understanding how this game works. They said, how much out of 17 minutes can we make the applause before people get, wondering if it's fake? And somebody decided 5.5 minutes, and that's what they did. And somebody deciding that said, then cut the other 5.5 minutes we were going to do for the rest of the show because we won't need it. We'll be overtime.
Yeah. Oh, no, indeed. And that, again, that's a lot of inside baseball, but it's 100% accurate. And the weirdest part of the situation is that was the most friendly audience he could have conjured.
Right. So, Lauren, here's the way the game is played. The Charlie Kirk Memorial picks up more than 100 million views. They don't talk about it. They refuse to talk about it. You got to go to places like that Park Place to read about it. Then Jimmy Kimmel comes out, and everybody wants to find out if he apologizes. He gets 6 million views. They make the headlines be about how he's breaking records, and you got to read down into it to find out he's breaking his own records. He gets 1/15 of what the Charlie Kirk Memorial gets. We all know that in the days to come, because nobody actually, cares about him other than to see if he was going to apologize, those ratings are going to dwindle, and they're not going to speak up again. This entire thing is intended to take the one episode possible to prove that Nexstar and Sinclair, these awful affiliate stations who refused to play him, they had no impact, and they better get in line fast. That's the whole game here, Lauren, but it's not reality.
And they know that.
That was a statement. I'm waiting for a question.
The question is, Lauren, will Sinclair and Nexstar, will they succumb? Will they bend the knee to the legacy media coming out and trying to demand they get in line?
No, I don't think so, because there's no incentive for them to do so. The show's losing money, advertisers are not interested, and if you think that Kimmel can govern his mouth for any length of time, I've got news for you. All that he presents to them is a risk. So I don't see any reason for them to bend the knee until they get what they want, whatever that is. The other thing about this is that we know that Kimmel's contract is up in August. We know that he was in third place. We know that Colbert was losing money hand over fist, and it stands to reason that Kimmel likely is too, and the advertisers can't be happy. So this is not really about Kimmel. It's about trying to make the point that see how they tried to censor us and see how we are brave and bold and defying them, despite the fact that that's not what happened. Evidentially so, because if that was what happened, they wouldn't be able to come back. It's all, as Lou has said multiple times, kabuki theater.
Yes.
Right. And by the way, how much does a Super Bowl pull in? Like 120 million views.
Yeah, crazy.
This Jimmy Kimmel thing is nothing. It is nothing. Now, I have heard, and I'd like us to wrap up here, guys. We have heard from a source, and we're gonna enter into rumor and speculation here. But one of our sources has said, and I don't know if it's Nexstar or Sinclair, but one of these giant affiliate companies, what they're asking for before they'll put him back on the air is political parity in the guests. In other words, they want the same number of conservatives and left-leaning individuals. They want the same number on the show. I don't know how they can do that. I don't know if that is a reasonable ask. I tend to think that it's kind of impossible to do because if he's going to have on Hollywood celebrities, they're all on the left, basically. So what do you guys make of that if that is the request that's being made?
It can't be met. It can't be met, and it won't be met.
Yeah, I don't see Nexstar or Sinclair bending their knee. They've clearly decided that this guy's a jerkweed.
That's a highly technical term. Would you explain that, please?
No, look. I mean, I was trying not to use bad language. So
I appreciate that, Culture. Your potty mouth has gotten much less.
Your industry knowledge with all these inside baseball terms, I tell you.
I'm just saying. No, it's
now tell us more about.
It's you.
Tell us more about the wieners and the doo-doo heads of Hollywood, please.
No. The wieners are in California, and they are making crazy laws that y'all should look into. But anyway, all I have to say is none of this stuff is ever going to play out. I mean, his contract ends in August, and as Lauren said, I don't know how they renew it. I don't know why.
I think they're going to. I think Bob won't be there to suffer the consequences. I think his parting gift to his lefty friends is to re-up the contract with Kimmel.
Oh man, that would be
I don't think they
disaster.
keep him on the public airwaves. I think you may be right. They may.
You're right.
I said at the beginning they'll move him over to Hulu.
And whoa. We have a whole other
money.
Sure, but we have a whole other direction to go now. Thank you to Reuters bringing to light a story that our friend Mac, now it's known on X, brought into the light that we're probably going to talk about at length tomorrow, although I won't be here. It's possible they could take ABC and pull it into the streaming space.
Right. Yep.
So maybe they don't have to worry about it quite so much. I'll just say this. Look, Kimmel did this nice little bump, as fake as it was, and he will diminish down just like Colbert did after his little bump. And that's it. Because nobody in their right mind thinks the show can recover, and none of these affiliate ownership groups are interested in them. You realize Nexstar, as of the 30th, which is how many days? Is 6 days from now, will have filed the paperwork officially to acquire Tegna.
Yeah.
And that's a $6.26 billion deal.
Something like that. Yeah.
A lot of stations.
And that will put these two affiliate group owners over 106 stations.
Well, let me ask you guys this, okay? So, Culture, you've brought up something that's really important. Yeah. There is the possibility that Nexstar and Sinclair don't succumb to what Disney is demanding. Yeah. Then, on top of that, okay, so let's say that they're down 30 to 40 to 50% of the population, all right? They have 26% of the affiliates. They have a larger percentage of the population.
Yeah.
So let's say that they hold steady and they say no, not without an apology. Jimmy Kimmel's not willing to give the apology. Okay. So we got a standoff. Then let's say that the advertisers get really mad, and it's just a matter of time until Jimmy Kimmel says something really bad again, and the advertisers say we can't be affiliated. Okay. Now here's where we get to it, and I think you're really onto something. What is Disney to do at that point? They've got this guy. Bob can't let him go. He can't let go of Jimmy because if he does, then all his buddies get very angry with him. But they could put him on Hulu. Would they lose money? Yes, but they're already going to. But they could put him on Hulu and let him ride it out there. What do you think?
Well, obviously, everybody who has already been thinking about getting rid of Disney Plus and Hulu will make a run to the exits. So...
The final stinker, huh?
Didn't they tell us they're not going to tell us how many members there are anymore?
No, not going to tell us. And they kicked the price of Disney and Hulu and ESPN up.
Next month. Holy crap. Yeah. Oh, man.
So I think it's a great gift to give, as you increase the rate. Say, hey, here's Jimmy. Isn't he great?
No.
And it's also saying if Josh becomes CEO, I dare you to reverse it.
Poor Josh. Poor whoever becomes the next CEO. Bob is leaving a real mess. And Jimmy's part of that.
Why can't I go around topless anymore?
Because it's not appropriate.
Kevin Apollo isn't appropriate?
Kevin Apollo's like a Greek god. And besides, he does kind of wear shirts. Sometimes.
I mean, that kind of explains it.
I mean, technically Apollo is a Roman god borrowed from the Greeks, which makes sense, because he's powerful and has great takes.
Look, if you love Athena that much, you can marry him.
Nope, but I do plan to check out Lauren and Apollo on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, Lauren's there? This is another opportunity to see if we can get him to watch the Highlander movies.